It's a place where my wife and I come camping all the time. We haven't been back here in several years, but this is a camping area that we come to. It's at the end of the road. It's like, I don't know, 15, 20 miles in. And we were parked right here. And I was making a fire there like I normally do. And I heard this freaking noise. I don't know what it was. So I walked up here. I got up here and this thing was making a really weird noise. Now, you can believe what you want to believe. I don't know. I'm not trying to fill you full of crap, but this happened and I don't know what it was. And my whole family, is a bunch of hunters from Vermont, New Hampshire. And I've been hunting all my life. Not all my life, but I've been hunting on and off all my life. And I still do some hunting every now and then, but I was down here in this campsite down there. Now, this is a snowmobile trail. In the wintertime, this is closed off. So it's fairly isolated back here. You can see there's the that's the beam they put across the road and they lock it. You can't get in here in the wintertime until snowmobile season, and then they unlock it. And you can come down through here. But we were camping down in here, my wife and I, all by ourselves. And I thought it was somebody in the woods up here messing with me. So, I mean, they were making a real lot of racket. It just didn't stop. It kept going and kept going. And finally, it kind of like got my attention. And I decided to walk up here to where that little shady spot is. And I just started kind of saying, what do you want? Dude, get the hell out of here. And it was a noise like no animal that I had ever heard make. Okay, and this is the God's honest truth. I'm not a nut. I'm not a crackhead or anything like that. I'm not a nut job. I camp out all the freaking time, and we come out here to camp. And I haven't been actually here camping since this last time I was here, and I was camping in this spot. So I came up, like I said, to that shady spot right there. And I started yelling back at this thing because it was making noises that they weren't really animal noise, but it was almost like trying to mimic something is what it sounded like to me. And I just thought it was a person, messing with me, trying to scare me off, get me out of my campsite. But there is absolutely nothing up in here for camp spots. There's no camping in here at all. I mean, if somebody's up in there camping, God bless them, because you can see how thick it is. It's pretty thick. So anyway, I came up to the shady spot and I was standing there and I kept yelling at it, telling it to get the hell out of here. You're not gonna scare me off. I just thought it was a person. I really did, because the noise was just something that I had never heard before. And I'm not trying to compete with anybody on YouTube, but this was a real live encounter of something that wasn't a bear, it wasn't a moose, it wasn't any animal talking to me, it was something. And I'm gonna say Sasquatch, Bigfoot, I don't know, you can think what you want, but this out here we're in a pretty desolate area of Vermont. And this is also, there's a place out here where people have gone missing, so they say, but I think it's just poor judgment myself. People that, don't know how to track, and they didn't know how to, figure out how to get out of the woods, got lost out here and died out here or whatever. But I think it's just a matter of human error as far as that goes. But because I've you know, I don't live right here, but I've hunted this area and I've walked into this part of the woods, and it's pretty desolate. You got to kind of pay attention to where you're going, and you know, you just got to be able to figure your way out of the woods, which so far all my life I've been able to do that, you know. So, but anyway, on with the story. I decided that me yelling from down there at this thing up here in the woods wasn't doing any good. So I walked up to here, and I got to about here, and I figured I'd pick up some stones and I'd chuck them into the woods here and see what, you know, I could scare up. Maybe it was a person and they'd say, hey, stop throwing rocks at me, you know? So this thing just got more and more intense. The yakety clackety clackety yakety type noise that it was making, and it wasn't a bird. It wasn't a bear, and it wasn't a moose, and it sure as hell wasn't a deer, and it wasn't a coyote, and it just was not an animal. I don't know what it was, but I picked up some rocks here, and I got to right about here in the road here, and I chucked the rocks, a handful of them, up into the woods there, and it just kind of really got intense, and I kind of stomped my way over here to the edge of the brush, thinking that somebody would expose themselves, you know, and you know, say, okay, all right, man, I'm sorry, but that didn't happen. It just kept going and going and going, and finally I just said, all right, fine. You know, I swore at it a few times, and it was like mimicking, you know, noises, weird noises. I don't know what kind of weird noises you could call it, but it was just really strange. I'd never heard anything quite like it. That's why I thought it was a person. So I came over here figuring I'd call somebody's bluff out, but that didn't happen. And I just said, all right, fuck this shit. Sorry about my language, but I just said F this, and I just turned around and I went back down to my camp and went about my business, and finally it stopped. And I don't know whatever happened, if it was just passing through here or whatever it was, but whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it was not, you know, an animal. You know, I don't want people thinking I'm a nut or something, but it was definitely something that I had never heard before in my entire life, you know. This is really it's some pretty desolate place out here. There's really nothing out here. There's an intersection down here, and then out past there, it's a swamp. And there's quite a few swamps out here. I've seen moose out here. I've seen bear out here. I've seen coyotes out here. I've seen everything out here. I mean, everything except what I'm supposed to be hunting, deer, you know. I've never, I haven't gotten a deer out here yet. But if you've seen the footprints of the deer out here, man, they're pretty big. They're like huge. But this is an intersection down here, and there is just absolutely nothing, you know. There's these wooden signs that just point this way and that way. Oh, wow, make a liar out of me. Oh, they got a little bit of green on them now this time. But the stop sign's over here on the corner. You can't even see the stop sign. I mean, wouldn't you put the stop sign over here somewhere? I mean, that's kind of like around the corner. You go off into the... you just, I don't know. This is some pretty desolate area out here. And there's your makeshift sign to tell you what the hell way you're going. So, I mean, there's really nothing out here. And whatever this thing was, I'm telling you, it was not an animal that I've ever heard. And it was really strange. It almost sort of raised the hair on the back of my neck, but, you know, I never thought of, you know, a Bigfoot being out here. And I just thought, you know, you know, it's got to be somebody messing with me, you know, because there's nothing in here. There's no place in there to camp. Sometimes people will burrow a little hole out in there, but there's just no place here to camp, really. It's just so thick in there. So that was my encounter with whatever it was. Strange animal. I never heard anything like it in my life. It made this clattering like noise, like it was trying to mimic something, but it wasn't mimicking any specific thing, you know. It was just really strange. So anyway, that's my encounter, and you can believe it or not, and like, subscribe, and we're camping right now, so if anything strange comes up, I'll be sure to record it. I gotta get out of here. Little deer flies are driving me nuts. So, but we wanted to come down here and see if this camping spot was available, because we do like coming out here, camping out here, because this is a really great spot. So my wife drove her car out, and I drove the truck and camper out, and we decided to take a ride down in here. It's like another 10 miles from where we are camped. So 10-15 miles in from there. And even where we're in camping, it's already like 10 miles in, and there's nothing out there. So anyway, that's my experience. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you all later. Guitar pickers, keep on picking.